I would like you to talk about the difference between mindfulness and mindlessness.
Well, it is a very advanced stage in spirituality. It is not a stage of mindlessness. It is actually a stage in which mind doesn't have an influence. The mind is completely transcended and subdued. It's pretty much a non-existence. If you want to call it mindlessness, so be it. You see, but I wouldn't go so far to say that it is mindlessness. See, there is a very interesting word in English. We call ourselves human beings. You see? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes us as beings. Yet he describes us also as humans. Okay, in other words, he distinctly separates the two in Gita. See, when I'm quickly referring to Bhagavad Gita, it's because there is a lot of clarity about how do we reach spiritual heights in the material world. And the teachings of Jesus there is no lack of it. There is plenty of information about it, but it is buried in the mysteries. It is not as vividly spoken as it is in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, but Jesus goes over it over and over again. See, at one instance, Jesus says, Peter, get behind me, Satan. You don't have the minds of God, but you have minds of human being. See that?
Yes.
The separation is very clear in what Jesus says. One mind is distinctly different from the other mind. And to introduce that concept, Jesus calls Peter Satan first. Satan means somebody who is entangled in attachments, mindfulness, desires. That's what Satan is. You see? So, one condition he describes as human mind, and also alludes that it is some kind of a satanistic mindset or destructive mindset. Or let's make it even a little differently. It's a chaotic mindset. Whereas the mind of God is infinitely peaceful, infinitely blissful. You see, infinitely creative, infinitely loving. See, it's a very different kind of a mindset, unlike the mindset of a human being. And that's exactly what Krishna is saying. Krishna is calling us a being. Being means it's a state of stillness. There is nothing influencing you, nothing is affecting you. You are in an absolute presence of your soul, in other words. Or you are in the absolute presence of divine wisdom. And when you are in that frame of wisdom, it only stillness and peace and love and all of those things prevail. Not in a material order, but that's the existential reality. And that is what you perceive as the only reality. This is not an intellectual reality. It is a transcendent reality, meaning you have transcended mindfulness. And that's when you observe all these things. You are only observing what is going on. There is one instance Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that we are like reservoirs of water.
In a world where compassion knows no bounds, we strive to spread love and light to every corner of the globe. But to truly make a difference, we need your support. We're not asking for your donations today. Instead, we invite you to join our community. Simply hit that subscribe button, click the like, and ring the bell to stay connected. Every interaction counts. Every subscription, every like, every comment helps us spread hope. Together, we can make a difference. Subscribe now and be a part of something greater.
Flooded all around us, in other words. Reservoir of water, let's call it ourselves a pond or a stagnated water, but all around us is water, flood. See, there we are in our own consciousness, and all around us is a different kinds of consciousness. But for the consciousness itself, it is absolute stillness. People who are looking at it from the outside, it's flood, it's chaotic, it's that, it's this, oh my God. You see?
Yeah.
But for the water itself, it's absolute stillness, completely detached from all the chaos and all the panic that is going around, all around us. That is the condition of wisdom, the condition of our soul, condition of the presence of God. In other words, it's spiritual awareness. It is in the stillness. See, Psalm says, "Be still and know that I am God."
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that is what we really experience in that stillness of awareness. It is not a logical order, it is not an intellectual understanding, it's just being. Just being. Okay? Whereas in a humanistic awareness, we are very mindful. Mindful in the sense we are logically engaged, we have sensory experiences of what is all around us. We know what we are doing, we know what we are saying, we know what we are thinking, we know what we are visualizing. So that kind of awareness, it's very mindful. Okay? So, see, we as human beings, we are not created to exist in that state of what you described as mindlessness, in spiritual awareness all the time. See, we as humans, we have a duty to perform to this universe, and that is the will of God for our creation. In other words, that's our purpose in life. So, in order to implement or make our purpose in life materially fulfilled, we need our mindfulness. You see that?
Right.
In Gita, it describes it as a duty.
Okay.
Okay? So, in other words, these are things that we are obligated to go through. That's what duty means. See, in other words, these are things we must do.
Right.
Isn't it?
Right.
You see, when I say Gita and Christianity, I'm referring to religions. Okay? That is what I'm doing. See, religions are not created by Jesus, it was not created by Krishna. See, Krishna in the entire Bhagavad Gita never mentions the word Hindu or Hinduism. You see, Hinduism is created by the followers. Not even the followers of followers of followers. Same thing that happened in Jesus, In Jesus did not create a religion. Okay, but the religion was created by 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th generations after Jesus. Generations after it took the shape of a religion. Before that it wasn't. See, in Hinduism, Krishna says Sanatana Dharma, that's the Sanskrit word for it. So, Sanatana means it's for the human living, human existence in a connected universe, in a material universe. That's really what Sanatana means. Dharma, on the other hand, is something different. Dharma means way of living. So how people live a way of living in a materially entangled universe, meaning in a mindful universe, how do we live a spiritual living? That is what Sanatana Dharma means. And you know what the word Dharma literally means? Dharma literally means love and charity.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You see?
Yes.
So when we are living in a materially connected universe as human beings, our means to salvation is in love and charity. What did Jesus say? Exactly the same.
Yeah.
Love thy neighbor means charity.
Yeah.
Love yourself, love God, love thy neighbor. You will have the kingdom. Yeah. Isn't it?
Yes.
That's exactly what Jesus says also. There is no conflict between these two.
Right.
And they did not create a religion. See, people who created the religions are the ones who translated these scriptures in a way, and started giving doctrines and dogmas and all of that in a palatable format, so that people don't have to think. They can be thoughtless and subscribing to their definitions of living. See, that's really what happened. That's how religions evolved. So when I'm referring back and forth to Christianity and Hinduism, I'm not referring to religions. I'm referring to the way of living as Christ prescribed to us, as Krishna prescribed to us. Does it make sense?
Oh, yeah.
You see? So, in this connected universe, materially connected universe, we are striving to enter into the transcended stage of infinity, where we realize the infinite human beings of who we are. See, we are a composition of matter and energy. Okay, so even scientifically speaking, all right, there is an energy part of it, there is a material part of it. And the material part of it is the human part. The energy part of it, or the consciousness part of it, or the wave pattern, is what we are as consciousness. You see, our soul, it's pure energy. Pure energy. You see, it is not materially affected or connected any way whatsoever. See, it is really the being that we are. So when we are going to be in the being of ourselves as our souls, we need to detach ourselves from the material elements of it. See, the chaos in this universe, whether it's sickness, whether it's desires, whether it's attachments, whether it's our relatives, friends, or what other people are saying about us, it all comes from a certain desire. And what the desire is making us do, you see, the desires in itself is very limited. It only has very limited capacity in us. You see, for instance, a desire to eat well. I'm a foodie, I love to eat. So that's my desire. Isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Is that desire is an eternal desire or short-lived desire?
Short-lived.
Short-lived desire. And so is every single desire we have. Whether, it's a material desire or even a conscious desire. For instance, we want to be loved by others. We want to be respected by others. We want to be admired by others. All of these are desires.
Right.
You see, we want to study, have lots of degrees. So people will respect us for our knowledge. What is it? Desire.
Right.
See, the chaos in this universe is not because we have desires, but we strive to make the desires the infinite being that we are. We are giving a giant size to the tiny desires we have. That is where the chaos comes in. That is where I and mine and me and everything comes in. That is how our ego evolves. You see, we make something so limited the infinite being that we are. Do you see that?
Yes.
See, we want something so limited so that the legacy can continue, even outlive us. What is the meaning of it? We are making something that is so limited, unlimited.
Right.
And that's what we are striving to do. So we are looking for material answers to make this happen. So in other words, all these materiality in our mindfulness, we are striving to make them the infinite being that we are. Are we succeeding? No, we are not. You see?
Yes.
So, we as particles and waves, particles and energy, or we as body and soul, or we as matter and consciousness, these are two separate things.
Right.
And one is the transcended stage of mindfulness where the infinite being can be realized. And the other is a mindful condition where, the wisdom we derived or the knowing we derived can be mindfully synthesized. So the application of it can benefit humanity and the universe we live in.
Right.
So in other words, mindfulness is also essential.
Yeah.
And so is the transcended condition away from our mind. So they are interrelated, but they are separate.
Right.
You see?
But both necessary.
Both are absolutely necessary. See, we cannot perform our duty in the absence of mindfulness. Okay, so in other words, that's not what Bhagavad Gita teaches us. Yes, it is teaching us about transcended mindfulness again and again and again. Yes, it is. Okay, in fact, the first chapter is purely about that. Then we're coming into the second, third chapters and all of that. Then it comes into the mindfulness and how mindfulness, enables us to spiritually evolve. And there it talks about duties. See, your duties cannot be performed in the absence of mindfulness. Duties can only be performed when in the full engagement of mindfulness. You see?
Yes.
It's very unfortunate whether it's our church or whether it's the spiritual entertainers from everywhere or, the philosophy and our schools of thoughts and everything. It's all about mindfulness. See, our systems, our politics, our governments, our society, our schools, everything is about mindfulness and mindful engagement, of what we do and how we live. You see, for us to come into the understanding and comprehension that there is spirituality beyond that, it's not easily palatable. You see, people in general are looking for quick fixes, a pill that is going to give them a solution right then and there. So they are looking for materially connected solutions. So the whole concept of Bhagavad Gita, or the whole concept of Christ, who says, don't cling to me, transcend.
Right.
Transcend my material being. Okay, don't cling to me, because I'm going to my Father and your Father, my God and your God. It doesn't mean a material existence that he is transforming himself into. It's actually a conscious entity that he is going to transform into. He is becoming a conscious being from a material being. So Jesus is telling to Mary of Magdalene, don't cling on to me. Become that conscious being that I am. See, that conscious being is purely a transcended stage of mindfulness.
Okay.
So Christianity is not absent of, the philosophies in Hinduism, not at all. It's full of it. Except we have a deeply interpreted, mindful religiosity that we are following, and we are not capable of doing that. What is Jesus is telling us to do? Okay, but when we really delve very deeply into the mysteries of the teachings of Jesus, it is so incredibly beautiful, and there is no conflict between Hinduism or Buddhism and Christianity. There isn't. Even there is a lot of consistency between Islam and Christianity.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
So that's it. I hope I have answered your question.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you have.